Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne and today I'm going to share with y'all how I make my pumpkin bundt cake. We're going to be using a box cake mix. We're going to add some stuff to it. It is going to be super yummy, y'all. Are you ready? Let's get started. So first what we're going to do is we're going to be using a yellow cake mix. Okay, and I'm using the 15.25 ounces box of cake mix. So with that, we're going to also put in a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. So you want to make sure that you're using the pumpkin puree and not the canned pumpkin pie. So be sure that you're using just the pure pumpkin puree. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in. If you're a returner, welcome back. And on my channel, I like to share what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. So I invite you to hit that subscribe button, become one of my wonderful subscribers. Now, to my mixing bowl, I also added in a half a cup of sugar, and we also added in a third a cup of vegetable oil. Now to that, we're also going to add some milk, and I'm adding in a half a cup of milk. I'm using 2% milk, but you can use 2% or either whole milk. Now when I added the half a cup of granulated sugar, I did that to enhance that natural sweetness of the pumpkin puree. Next to our batter, we're going to put in some large eggs, and we're going to put in 4 large eggs that I have at room temperature. It's important to have your eggs at room temperature. It just mixes so much better into your batter to have the eggs not be ice cold from the fridge. And so I just let my eggs sit on my countertop for about an hour or so just to kind of bring them up to room temperature. And when you put your eggs in your batter, just go on and put your eggs in one at a time. Let it mix for like a few seconds, and then I just go on and I add all the eggs in just a little bit at a time. So now we have our batter, and this is what our batter is looking like. And then in my mixing bowl, sometimes like the dry ingredients can gather at the bottom if you're using like a stand mixer sometimes. And so be sure to go there and get in the bottom and make sure you don't have any batter that's kind of settled or dry ingredients that have settled at the bottom. Now today we are making pumpkin cake, but if you'd like to make pumpkin bread, I have a wonderful video on how to make pumpkin bread from scratch, and in the description box below I will put a link to the video on how to make pumpkin bread from scratch. Now we're going to put in our spices, and I like to mix the spices in by hand. We're going to put in 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. This pumpkin cake comes out so super yummy because of the wonderful spices that enhance this cake. We're also going to put in some ground ginger, and we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Now in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this very simple and delicious pumpkin bundt cake. Next, we're going to put in some nutmeg. And with our nutmeg, we're going to put in a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, I'm using a box yellow cake mix, but you can also use a spice cake mix as well. So you can either use the yellow or either a spice cake mix. Next, we're going to put in some cloves, and we're putting in 1 teaspoon of cloves. And so with the spice cake mix, I've also used that in the past, and it also comes out really good. It's going to give it a little extra spice because it already has a lot of spices in the cake mix already. So whether you're using a yellow box cake or either the spice cake, I keep the spices the same. And so once we have our spices in, I go on and mix it all by hand, and you see how that's looking? You can see all the flecks of the spices in there, and it is smelling so good. So while we're doing this, I do have my oven is preheating on 350 degrees. And my bundt pan, I have sprayed my bundt pan very well with some non-stick spray, my non-stick cooking spray. And I'm using this bundt pan is the 10-cup bundt pan that I'm using. A great addition to your pumpkin bundt cake is to add 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, or either 1 cup of chopped walnuts, or either 1 cup of chopped pecans. Either one of those 3 things works so good in this cake. And if you're going to add either the chocolate chips or either of those nuts, you want to put a little bit of flour, about a half a tablespoon of flour. Mix that over with the semi-sweet chocolate chips or either with the nuts if you're using those, and then add that to your batter, so that way those things stay suspended within the cake and they don't all sink to the bottom. Well, our cake is going to bake at 350 degrees for about an hour. So our cake is out of the oven. We're going to go on and let it cool. It's a beautiful golden brown color. So our cake has been cooling for about 20 minutes. And so I like to go on and really just tap firmly on the sides and kind of jiggle it a bit and loosen up the cake from the sides and from the bottom. Then I take my butter knife, and what I like to do with the butter knife is we're going to go around the edges and that inside ring. And so you want to make sure you do that to really help to kind of loosen up. Also, when I take my butter knife, you see how I gently kind of like lift up on the sides? I'm really trying to make sure that no cake is going to get stuck on the bottom. And this is something that I saw my mom do and her sisters do. Anytime they would make bundt cakes, this is how they would make sure that the cake would release really, really well. And so go around the inside, just like this. And also make sure that you always let your cake cool for a good 20 minutes or more. You never want to try to flip your cake out if it's really warm, then it will definitely end up sticking on you. So really let your cake cool for a good amount of time. And cooling your cake on a cooling rack really helps the cake not to sweat on the bottom, which can sometimes also cause it to stick. And then when you flip it, I like to do one fluid motion and brace the plate. And then once I've done that, I just gently lift up. And here we go, y'all. This is our pumpkin bundt cake. How do you think we did? Well, I'm going to let it cool for just a little while longer, and then we're going to go on and put some powdered sugar on top of our cake. Now, also, if you want to do a nice cream cheese frosting, in the description box below, I will have my recipe on a wonderful cream cheese frosting that you can also do if you'd like to do a cream cheese frosting on the cake. But today we are going to adorn our cake with some powdered sugar all over. And also, if you're going to use the cream cheese frosting, another nice addition on top is to put some of the chopped walnuts or chopped pecans on top. Well, let's go on and slice our cake and see how we did. It is smelling so good in the kitchen. Just the spices. It is fall. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to share this with y'all and show y'all and see how we did today with our pumpkin bundt cake. Well, here it is. It is looking so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go on and give it a try. And let's see how we did today. It is cutting so nicely. My parents taught me to share. So this first bite right here, that's for y'all. Okay, let me go on and take a bite and see how we did. You guys, wow. This came out so good. This is a great cake to make for your family, for your friends, to take to that nice fall gathering or holiday party, or wrap and give it to someone as a gift. The cake comes out nice and moist, and a baking tip is when you're at 45 minutes, you want to make sure that you test your cake and put in a tester and see where you're at with the doneness. Now with your cake, you want to make sure that you bake it until when you put the tester in, you're only going to end up having either no crumbs or just one crumb on your tester, whether using a tester stick or either a toothpick. You want to make sure that the cake is nice and browned, a beautiful golden brown on top. Let it cool and enjoy. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go on and click that subscribe button. It's free. If you like this video and appreciate the content, don't forget to show it some love. Give it a thumbs up and click share, and share this video with a friend or family. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you can come back and visit me again in my kitchen. Well, happy fall. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.